simple things. Or
Yeah.
how did you price it 50 rupees and why is that 100 rupees?
Yeah.
So we illustrate, the first conversation I have is with a child. And then I tell the parent, you can sit and listen. Right? And we go from understanding the product as to what and how many and why. And through that, my favorite part is the model that we've developed, which is the 3 Ps.
Hello, all of you mums listening in. I'm Anjana Appana, and we're back on Invisible Work. If you thought I actually went invisible and completely went silent on the airwaves, you are right, actually. I have to admit, I have taken a bit of a break. And why is that? Well, you already know what summer vacation is like. You know, the child on one shoulder and the child also on the other shoulder. And apart from that, well, unfortunately, a bug decided to bug me and I have been recovering. But I'm glad to say that I'm back and I'm excited to be back because, okay, now it's time for some real talk here on Invisible Work. This is where I champion you, dear mama. You, the one that manages everything, not always with a smile, but definitely with the sincerity that only a mother can. And if you have scrolled through Instagram recently and stopped on a video of kids absolutely losing it with joy at some sort of cultural event or, eating candy at a get-together for kids, well, it's because you have probably already been introduced to my guest today. She is probably who made it happen. I'm talking about Farah Merchant. She's a mum, a full-blown powerhouse, and the founder of Merchants of Happiness. I'm sure that rings a bell. She's loud about joy, she's unapologetic about play, and she's building a community of kids and parents who genuinely can't wait for the next event. So here I have with me Farah Merchant. Buckle up, people. It's going to be a fun one. Welcome to the show, Farah.
Thank you, Anjana. Thanks for having me.
It is an absolute pleasure. Now, I have been seeing you online for many years, but I've also been meeting you offline for even longer.
Yeah.
And I've always enjoyed meeting you.
Yeah.
The thing that always stands out about you is the fact that you have always seemed like you're carrying a community with you. Is that how Merchants of Happiness came up? And take us back to the beginning. How did you come up with it? What is it that made you want to start something like Merchants of Happiness? Also, please tell us what it is. I'm saying that it's an event company, but I know that isn't the full explanation.
Okay, the Merchant of Happiness is not just one moment or one realization. I think it's an encapsulation of me being a child and then becoming a mother, and being able to see the differences of how I was brought up versus how children are brought up today. And I can't speak for all of them, but a large enough community. And I think being able to bridge that gap between what parents can do slightly differently, if not the only thing, and how do we really understand what children want. And so years ago, when I was new to motherhood and I was looking out for community, they only had this one online center where you went to check your baby was the size of an avocado to a papaya to a watermelon. But I think
true.
We were facing a lot more. So I think within the space of community mums, I started a simple WhatsApp group today where multiple groups run by different mamas, different dads. One has mums and dads, one has only mums, a group that's gone into mental health for mums, a groups that gone into parties for mum, workouts for mum, different kind of things.
Right.
And for me, it was just absolute support and realizing that it takes a village. That's what I realized from it. From Easter egg hunts with a couple of mum friends to picnics in random parks across Bangalore, I realized that as my son was growing up, my son's needs were also growing up, right? And I wanted him to learn more than just being nice and social with friends or learning how to play and share. And so that's how Merchants of Happiness came to me. The name itself is Merchants, which is my last name.
Right.
And we are essentially merchants, aren't we? We're always giving and taking, and we're convincing and persuading and selling. And if children need to be taught the power of being able to persuade and influence, whether it's for a cycle or whether for a new game or an idea, because they do have the most fantabulous ideas, it's pure joy. And so that's why the name, The Merchants of Happiness. So yeah, it's been 4 years,
Wow.
almost 20 plus editions, working across child friendly venues in Bangalore, bringing together just everyone from play partners to libraries to NGOs to book houses, everybody to parents, everyone that's focused on, I think, partnering with children and this whole process called growth. So, yeah, that's where we started, that's where we are.
That's amazing to hear. How is it that you landed on something like this? What is your prior experience? What were you doing before this?
So, interestingly, I've done 21 years in the corporate world and I did the rat race. And
Right.
the honest story is, I've always heard the minute you have a child, you're going to have to learn how to do many things like balance or choose between careers and
Yeah.
reprioritize and refocus. Me, on the other hand, I was pregnant and I said, now what?
Right.
Then they said, when you have a baby, and I had a baby and I was like, now what?
Yeah.
I'm not saying motherhood was not enough. It's something I've waited for my entire life. Like, I was born to be a mother. I wanted 3 children,
Oh,
but that's
wow.
a different story. And then they said the first year of parenting, and I did the first year, and I was like, now what? And so it was an entire journey of just being able to refocus on motherhood, observe what it brings out of me. But I've always been ambitious, and I've done that for 21 years. I've worked till a point where I was working with leadership, and I had this just most depressing, frustrating itch for years saying 21 years in the corporate industry is finally when you get to make decisions, when you get to make
Right.
changes. And so it was like a constant nag that is this, I've let go of a legacy, I've let go of a chance. It didn't help that clients called back and said, when you back, because moms were going back to work.
Yeah.
And after intense conversations, cry out sessions, journaling, I told my husband, I think what I have to do is find something where I can still use these skills.
Right.
And so rechanneling those skills is, what I had to really work on. And I literally bring a structure to the Merchants of Happiness that happens as well.
Right.
And that didn't happen easily because it took 3 years to, I think, figure it out. So
Right.
while I did corporate learning and development and operations and strategic management for leadership before I became a mom,
Right.
finding that gap, that how can I carry these on? How can I still teach? How can I still share? And who am I going to share with if it's not people in the offices? And I said, it should start at a grassroots level. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have to wait till we're 18 to say, now
Yeah.
get serious about a job.
Yeah.
Now save money.
Yeah.
Now learn how to have conversations. And
Yeah.
so I had a child, and literally I said, let's start when they're small.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. So, you spoke about being in Bangalore long,
Yeah.
and you are a Bangalorean through and through,
Yeah.
right? And now you do a lot of events that are very centric to the city, like your latest at the Panchavati Gardens.
Yeah.
And we've seen you expand as the city has expanded.
Yeah.
But what does it mean to expand in a growing city and also outside of the city when your business brand is so deeply rooted within a city? Does that matter?
There's so many different ways of thinking about this, Anjana, but I think one is Bangalore's always been a city that's ready to try new things.
Right.
So whether it's a startup or a cafe or a founder hub or buildings turning from just residentials to now become work zones and this place like itself, like meet, play and live over here, it's also had very evolving parents who are just asking questions more than academics. Like we're now saying, what is this resilience?
Yeah.
How do I teach my child? I thought you have to go through like heartbreak or poverty or an absolute crash or
Yeah.
COVID to learn resilience because it teaches you. Or how do I make my child kind? Or what is influence? What is persuading? What is emotional intelligence? Now, we're
Yeah.
parents that are now asking those questions.
Yeah.
And I think it's that curiosity that gave us room to grow. So I was not the only parent asking that question.
Right.
Bangalore's also got another beauty to it, which is rare to the city, which is community. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Like everything, whether it's a Langford Town market or a Cooktown hub or a Koramangala social or anything, it's we thrive on community. And whether you want to call it old school or new ways of doing things, for us, what that meant was every parent, every family that's come to put up a stall has come because another parent has come.
Right.
Every parent that's visited for the first time is because another parent said, there's something for children happening.
Right.
So I think being in Bangalore has made me learn movement first, the map comes later. And so I was very sure that I did not want to build a product and then market it, because then it becomes a business and you're working with people and real children.
Yeah.
So I wanted to build community upwards and use Bangalore's already existing like-minded people to say we build the movement first and find like-minded parents that are ready to ask more, or parents that they've heard this but they don't know what it is, and there's a space for everyone. The map, it's been 4 years and is finally drawing itself out now.
Right.
I think we're getting invites from different schools across the city. We're getting invites from outside of Bangalore to come do it.
Right.
And there's now more clarity in terms of where we're heading. And that's into schools, into the actual grassroots level of things,
Would it be wise to say then that one of the ways to grow a business like this is to create the franchisee model?
I don't know. Honestly, I didn't start this as a business. I didn't. Interestingly, I was telling Ben, Anjana auntie is going to ask me some questions today, and I said, I don't know what I'm going to answer. Like, I've been waiting to tell people, but when you're at it, it's so much that needs to come out.
Yeah.
And he just said, okay, Mama, I'll ask you questions. And the first question is, was this an event or a business first?
Oh.
And I was like thrown back, and I said,
I think I just found my co-host.
Your next question. So the question was this? It's not an event, and I'll tell you more about it. But it was the getting people to the pop-up first, and then finding the business angle to it. And I'm open enough to say the business angle just feeds the movement.
Right.
That's what I wanted for it to be a business.
Right.
Affordable and accessible, and that's been my core words through everything. Like, even if I'm catering at home, or I'm selling toys, or tomorrow I'm opening up a library, for me motherhood is hard, it's a lonely journey, it's an expensive journey. Affordable, accessible. So have I thought of a franchisee model? At some point in business or entrepreneurship or a startup, you have to realize that a lot of the product is you, and you have to keep showing up the way you've said your product is.
Yeah.
So if I find like-minded people, I think I'd want more people to do it.
Right.
But is it a model? Does it need to be a model? Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we may not need to be there.
And I think that's also interesting of businesses which have so much heart, right? You speak about how you are also, you're not just the face of it or the person who owns this company.
Yeah.
You are sort of the brand, right? How much of this business is inspired by motherhood? You've already mentioned that, but how much of it, continues to inspire you as a mother? How does the working woman feed the mother?
From when I was in my corporate years, Anjana, I've always said, when the fad word or the term came out about work-life balance, we were still fighting about men getting more opportunities versus women getting more opportunities and everything. And I just don't, I feel like it can be an individual experience, but not all of it.
Right.
It's both. It never separates itself. Right. Especially as a mother, think about it, right? Like, I think age-old wise, if you ask your mother or your mother-in-law, like, 18, that's when you're considered a legal adult and you can do things on your own. My 40-year-old husband loves his mom to death. And sits in the room and chats with her about politics and everything, and still goes back to decisions with her. I think motherhood is an ongoing journey.
It truly is. That's so true, because, for example, when I got married, I thought to myself, my God, I made the biggest commitment of my life. Little did I know it does not shine a light at all on anything else the way motherhood does. That is the true commitment.
So if I could risk saying it, it's not connected at all.
Of course.
Right? It's like two sides of you, and it just happens to be existing at the same time.
Yes.
And the tug is between, the two. But merchants of happiness, like, and motherhood, I love how it's interconnected.
Yeah.
I love how when I'm speaking to parents about building resilience or motivation or how to convince them not to price something high or
Yeah.
where a child is having a tantrum, I'm not speaking from theory. I'm speaking as a mother.
Yeah.
I'm speaking as a child who is equally rebellious enough to question everything and want to do it my way.
Yeah.
And so I think they've both shaped each other. I was extremely ambitious and focused as an individual, as a woman. Motherhood softened me to a level where I think I understand people better.
Right.
I want to understand children better because I have a child myself.
Yeah.
And when they both aligned, I realized that while motherhood is understanding your own child's potential and nurturing it, Merchants of Happiness is realizing that children already have potential.
Yeah.
So every time I see 100 different types of children that learn and grow in different ways and 100 different parents, I'm taking that back home.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
if I've been able to persuade my son into doing something in a very cool way, in a new way, by even learning their own language,
Yeah.
by learning how they like it to be said or not,
Yeah.
whether that involves, these cool words that come up or these slang that come up or whatever, I'm using it back here.
Yeah.
And so I think it's both. I've become more observant as a parent,
Yeah.
and I've become a better person at pushing children to their potential at Merchants of Happiness. So I think it's both.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
So you said you've always wanted to be a mom,
Yeah.
and you had the idea of having 3 children.
Yeah, I just need 3 husbands because my husband's given up after the first one and said one and done.
Yeah, I mean, I share his sentiment. Me with my one child, I'm like, oh my God, this is so hard.
Life is reflection, right? Now I'm like one and done, sure. But I mean, I still want a house full of.
Yeah, and
Children
you've got your
running around.
Merchants of
Yeah.
Happiness kids now.
I've got 1,700 children of my
Jeez,
own.
I think you might beat all those mythical books now. No, so tell us what that was like, when you realized you were pregnant and then having Ben being your
Yeah,
son, of course, and
yeah.
my potential co-host.
Yeah.
But what was
He'll
it
ask you for
like?
money, you better be watchful. He's learned
Oopsie
to
daisy.
through more, and he's like, my time is money.
Oh,
He
wow.
says that,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I shall keep the funds
Yeah.
going then.
Paid internship.
So what was
Motherhood
that
is
like?
fabulous, Anj. I feel like I grew up with a single mom and 2 brothers. And my mom went out of her way to really give us the best.
Wow.
Even though at times when there were financial difficulties, she'd make the best of the food that she could. At times when we were giving up for various reasons, she'd show us how different people don't give up. And she did that by leading itself.
Right.
My brothers and I have always had the most beautiful learnings of there are always resources to help you. There are always ways of managing situations. There are always ways of working people. My mom still has 3 schools in her house working for the community, one for women, one for children, and we all support her today, but she just won't give up.
Wow.
She just won't stop, and she says, till my last breath, my calling, I've realized, has been to give. Whatever I have to give.
Right.
So whether it means giving money to someone in need, teaching laborers' kids in a camp, so that's my childhood. We've been
Right.
rich in learnings. We've been rich in love, regardless of the hardships that we faced. So when I got married, it was, of course, with its fair shares of trials and tribulations and all the different, the people that you meet in life. And when
Yeah.
I found Chris, I still didn't know as a man what I wanted, but I knew what I did not want. Then we get married, have the most beautiful beach wedding, and then he's off to the UK for a month. He comes back, he goes back, he's a month later back again. So in between 2 months and 2 months of being married, I'm like, hello, I have news. Shall I serve you dinner first or shall I give the news first? So it's very unplanned.
Right.
And this might be a really important time to say that this whole concept of men will learn. Once a child comes, they learn. Or once it happens, it'll learn. It's not true.
Right.
I think men they're doing beautifully as fathers in this generation comparatively, and our own fathers are changing. Looking at the men.
That is
Don't
so
you agree?
true.
Like they're like, okay, even I want to. Like even I want that. Oh,
Like,
Papa, we love you freely. Like even I want that because
and that
lived.
light to shine on me. Like I'm an evolved man too.
And I listen and I know how to cook and whatever.
It's adorable.
My husband said yes to everything, whether it's the kind of wedding I wanted or having a child, because he said, I love you, and if this makes you happy. He was not ready for a child. And so I think the first few months were about just constantly I just knew, I was like, I've made it.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what I've done in life before. I'm like, I'm a mother, like it's gonna go well. For him, we had to sit and learn together and work through our fears and work through, but I'm not ready, but I'm this and I'm that. And we had to really work. So the first 4 or 5 months were that and a lot of doctor tests. After that, I've seen my husband evolve quietly and silently from the back door. And I think that has made me a stronger mother. That's made me pull my socks up and say, I got to do well by this child, because now we're both invested. I've seen my mom and my mom-in-law change their ways of talking. Before it was, beta say twinkle twinkle little star and tell me your math and tell me your geography. Now it's just like, oh, so this is how you think about it, and let's talk. And I see my brothers step up and say where the man figures and the dad figures, and so I partied till 2 days before I delivered, and that was meant that I was cooking and nesting and feeding, and it's been joyous because something changes in you. Your whole, not something, everything, your entire world view. And not enough your body's changing, but when you have people who are willing to give you space to go through all of that, motherhood can be joyous. So I remember it as fun. I remember it as just fun and eating ice cream every day and hating chocolate to loving chocolate and being fed by neighbors and everybody, and enough number of challenges as well to self-doubt the man I married versus who I am as a woman. But it turned out okay. Because I think our values are very aligned. So that was motherhood for me. And of course, ever since, having Ben is like having your best friend. Having a boy, I mean, I've never differentiated between girls and boys. And that's why I do well at Mo as well. There's no difference. But having a boy, especially for a woman, is like free therapy, free healing, free physical exercise. Like
that I will, yes.
It's just everything.
That is 100% true. The rest, I will counter you on it once the mic goes off. When I tell you all the antics mine has been up to.
But it's been amazing, and that's because suddenly this side of me that I saw in my mom, I didn't realize it was going to come up, but you are your mother at the end of the day,
God.
right? And suddenly you're like, you want to do that? Go find a book. You want to do that? Let's do this. And I'm like, that's who I am, like as a mother. And I loved it. I loved it. It's been fabulous so far,
What, you spoke about resilience in children. And I recently met your son, and I don't know if I would say I saw resilience, but there are traces of that ability to converse, to be able to place his ideas. So I can see that you're leading from the front there, but when you run something like Merchants of Happiness, where you're dealing with so many children who come with from so many different backgrounds and ideas that are different, how do you build that in a child, or try to give the child an opportunity for something like that? What does confidence and resilience look like in a child, in your opinion? Because
really
that's
nice,
something I'm curious about, because firstly, they change so much, right? Like an 8-year-old, when you compare them to them at 14, they're so different. And sometimes you can place your finger on it and say, I know how this change happens. Sometimes you just can't. What, in your opinion, should it look like?
I think that's a really interesting question, because it's everything that we've talked about so far. Seeing how it grows, seeing how it happens, but very organically.
Right.
Confidence, Ange, is not... Can I tell you where we go wrong first?
Yeah.
As a child and as a parent, I was very misunderstood as a child because I've just naturally been blabberous and confident or out there or rebellious, whatever you want to call it, right?
I'm now imagining a little
Farah.
Same thing, just size variation.
Just find me arguing about everything possible to a point everyone said I should become a lawyer. Like, I love it. Like, I challenge everything.
And I love how that was an insult, right?
Yeah.
Like every time I argued with someone, you should study law
Yeah.
and become a lawyer.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, how is that?
Why is that
you know,
wrong?
Yeah.
Confidence goes wrong when adults, as parents, start identifying confidence in their child as they see confidence in grown-ups.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting
So,
idea.
if I, by virtue of just being known as a very confident, socially comfortable person, start looking at Ben as he's not talking, he's not the first one to say hi, he's not hugging people, he's not open to ideas, he's not constantly jumping at every opportunity, that's where I think we go wrong. For mums, it's about being socially acceptable. For dads, it's about a lot of accurate, tangible outcomes.
Right.
Firstly, that's wrong because you're looking at it from your perspective as an adult. And as parents, we're constantly saying, oh, I don't want you to suffer. That's why I'm pushing you and teaching
Yeah.
you. Or I want you to do better. I want to take advantage. I will do my best, whatever. But you're still doing it from a lens of what you didn't get, what you didn't have. You're looking to fix your inner child. This child is not a project. It's a person in itself. You know how when they're small, we're like, he looks like you, he looks like me,
Yeah.
he looks. At some point, I'm like, I don't know who he looks like.
Yeah.
Like, where did this come from? You know, it's the same thing. You can't cut, copy, paste, or give them a blueprint. You have to be able to draw bigger blueprints and be there as a safety net. So confidence is not loud. Confidence is not competitive. Confidence is not marks. And confidence cannot be said as you've done a great job. That doesn't build confidence. My mom, for example, I don't think she had tangible lessons. As a single mom, she was going through her own lessons.
Yeah.
But if I can tell you what she gave me, and she was building confidence in me way before we could define the word. Every time I failed, she said, get up and try again. I know where she got the stories from, whether it was
Yeah.
spiritual or God or her own family or my own, anybody, friends, anything, or comparing me. It was never to a point like, look, they've done it, you can do it. No, they said, here's an example. So
Yeah.
she never let us give up. And she
Right.
said it's okay to fail.
Yeah.
The worst come worst is people will say something, but that's, it's
That's
like,
like-
that's all.
yeah.
People have to keep talking. She never gave up. Then every time I had a question, she would send us to a book. Mia, tell me why. It started with that, but even today, she will tell us something around it that will lead us.
Find the resources to help yourself.
Exactly. So confidence is not what we measure. Confidence can be for the first time a child has made eye contact comfortably. For the first time a child had a feeling and an idea and it came out of their mouth.
Right.
For the first time a child raised their hand and asked a question. And that's the point, whether it's motherhood or an entrepreneurship or a woman leading a business. Merchants of Happiness is a space where every time a child comes, the confidence or the outcome is very tangible, but it's what they choose to display as they grow. And that's when you need to, I think you need to observe more than lead.
Right.
Say, my child, like I have a conversation with my husband very often, and he says, I want him to be brave and shake hands like a man, and I mean, his entire family is from army background.
Right.
So he's very like, this
Yeah.
is how a man should be, and every time he leaves the house, he's like, you're the man of the house, and I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. My son won't sleep because he needs to be the man of the
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
Versus me now we're going out for dinner, and Ben can comfortably get up and ask for the menu, or because we haven't heard him and we're talking, he'll say, do you have this dessert? Or I want only one paratha. And
Yeah.
that's confidence.
Yeah.
Can we now give them more opportunities to use that in different spaces?
And grow that, yeah.
In school while asking a question. Learning how to spend the money that you've gotten as a gift.
Yeah.
Planning things on a holiday, planning a menu, planning your own birthday party. Start small.
Yeah.
And as they grow, confidence, skills, everything will show up in different ways.
Like in just being able to stand up for themselves.
Simple. So whether it's like we call it, they need to be more assertive.
Yeah.
It doesn't start by saying, when pushed in a situation, say this.
Yeah.
That's not it. You're giving them their own situations, their own learning, their own decision making, and that leads to confidence.
Right.
That leads to confidence is what? A stronger sense within yourself that if I need to say anything, if I need to do anything, I can now comfortably do that. You know,
Yeah.
for me, that's what Merchants of Happiness does. For some children, the outcome is money. For some children, the outcome is, I really want to test if people will buy bracelets made out of pearls.
Right.
I really want to see if a crocheted bag can be the one like it is in a different shop I saw at the airport. Like when people buy, I want to test it. 50 rupees because I'm a child, or 500 rupees because I've put in work over here.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we coach them. We do, like, before every round of Merchants of Happiness, every child and parent goes through 4 weeks of coaching with me on understanding product, pricing, and people. And we're not teaching lessons like this is how you sell a product, this is how you package. We're eliciting from them. And the beauty of it is confidence comes from letting the child know that as adults, we're okay with their thoughts. It's not childish, it's not stupid, it's not silly. And then what they come up with themselves is then, it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scarier than AI right now, you know, because when you give someone an opportunity, it takes very different forms.
Yeah. And that's wonderful to see
Yeah.
that you're actually growing. It's not about from one event or one pop-up
No.
to another. It's engaging them enough for them to actually build that
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Now that we spoke about this and how you actually conduct these training sessions, can you walk us through a child-led event and what it actually means in practice?
Yeah.
How do you design something that's
Yeah.
led by children
Yeah.
and not designed for them to engage in that space?
Yeah.
You know, there is a difference between the two. And, you know, maybe you could give us a transformation story of some kind?
Yeah. This is the part that I love talking about. So, Merchants of Happiness is a child-led event.
Right.
It is not an event where parents prep everything and the children come to decorate and look like children at the stall because
Right.
it becomes a cool thing to watch. It's
Right.
not. From the time a parent fills up a registration form, their first priority before they even register and pay for a stall or whatever is like, can I chat with your child?
Right.
And in an age appropriate way, we elicit from them what their worldview or understanding is of what is it going to take for you to stand there for 4 hours and give people the insight into why you built something. Why did you choose crochet? Why are you making art? Why are you baking? You know, why are you choosing millet popcorn? Like, where did this come from? You know, simple things. Or
Yeah.
how did you price it 50 rupees and why is that 100 rupees?
Yeah.
So we elicit, the first conversation I have is with a child. And then I tell the parent, you can sit and listen. Right? And we go from understanding the product as to what and how many and why. And through that, my favorite part is the model that we've developed, which is the 3 Ps, the product pricing, where we elicit life skills
Right.
and the importance of learning it, right? For example, a child can get carried away with many, many, many ideas throughout the process, till one
Yeah.
day before the auntie, but I'm also bringing.
Yeah.
And then we teach them failing to have a plan is like planning to fail.
Right.
And we make them write it down. Yeah?
Okay.
And that this is the importance of learning to stick to a plan.
Right.
Whether it fails or no at the stall, you have to make a plan and stick to it so you can get better. Or understanding why you shouldn't bring 100 bracelets because you can make them,
Yeah.
because they're not going to sell.
Yeah.
So how many people are we expecting? You know, what is customer behavior?
Yeah.
You know, do you want them to buy because it's cute, or do you want them to buy because it's a really cool product to use every day?
Yeah.
right?
Or because you are cute, you know, like
Any
it's
one
so
of
hard
them.
to say no to
So
kids.
then we talk about goals. Yeah, is your goal about making money, or is it goal about I have 40 cupcakes and I need to sell them all because I want to teach people that decorating is really cute? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we do goal setting. We talk about making plans. We then take pen to paper in an age appropriate way. And I can't tell you, children are 6 years old are like, money is something they've understood like the back of their hand. They won't start manipulating you around it. Like I still need to
Of
spend
course.
and buy and whatever, and I want the best of best. But we also then give freedom with boundaries. So yeah, you want to put up your jewelry, you can always bring a fancy jewelry stand. But you know what? I saw this other kid, and they used this little old monkey tree that they had, and they put thermocol around it, and then they put toothpicks, and then they put toilet rolls, and they hung all their jewelry about it. They're like, wow! And so that eureka moment for child and parent to understand what really brings you from point A to point B in terms of success. So child-led means that.
Right.
Taking their ideas or convincing them about something new by making them think it was their idea anyways, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you're
yeah.
getting it that way.
Yeah.
Child-led also means from planning to execution to decision making to fights and negotiations about prices is all by them.
Right.
So it's a lot of counseling I do with parents. I have
Right.
a mom who recently called me and said, talk to my child, no, please, she listened to you. And I'm like, you're the mother. And she's like, no, she listened to you. I have a child who started by, his parents said, you have to sell a lemon tart at 100 rupees at least, because
Okay.
anywhere you go, that's a price.
Yeah.
And he said 20 rupees. And then we had to pen to paper negotiate about making cost, selling cost. And he was okay with the loss. But I said, no more stall will ever go into loss.
Yeah.
At least what you've put in needs to come back. So there's a principle around it. And
True.
then they were like 50 rupees.
Yeah.
But it was his decision. And his mom said, I give up. But his mom was the happiest when 70 of them sold. And all of them sold. That
Wow.
became, she's like, I'm happier that they all sold versus. So that entire process is child-led. The entire process of changing their mind, but within the boundaries of learning, is child-led.
Right.
The ability to make mistakes and be okay with it, that's child-led.
Yeah.
You know, the success stories are, I don't know, this brother that came down from boarding school with two sisters over here, they sold white kids and white caps and designed on it, and he was a really good artist. And they
Oh,
made
wow.
48,000.
Oh my
Like, I've not
God.
made that much extra. 48,000. I'm like, yo, what are you going to do with 48,000?
Yeah, and that is a great idea, right?
Yeah. And there was a child who made this brown paper envelope, and it's still my favorite story to tell. And on the sticker, and I'll show you, it was written, inside you'll find a earbud, a band-aid, a cotton swab, this, that, the other. And I was like, maybe it's a first aid kit, but a cool kids version. You know? But you open the note and it says a band-aid to keep you, every time you get hurt. A cotton bud to wipe out all the unwanted advice you get. A rubber band to hold your friendships together. And Taj hired her
Wow.
to make gift packs.
That is adorable.
Or an 8-year-old who built a tie-dye business and said, every Sunday, once a month, you can send me all your whites. I will tie-dye and you pay the delivery cost. And I'm like, that's so cool. Or a child from a very, very reputed school who now does their own version of Merchants of Happiness and started because they are child-led as well.
Right.
That child made Swiggy spoons that we get.
Yeah.
Turned it into spoon wooden models, like puppets.
Oh,
So he
right.
cut out hair for the thing and googly eyes and whatever, and he's done birthday party return gifts.
Right.
And I have more children being hired to make cupcakes for birthdays and the cakes rather than grown-ups.
Right.
And I have parents who are writing to me who are like, my child wants to learn math. Thanks, Farah. And I'm like, initially I was like,
How?
how
But-
me? Why me? And then I'm like, because they calculated. And then
Yes.
like, maybe the goal is I want to make more money.
Yeah.
But they've gone back to study a little more.
Yeah.
So that's child-led.
Yeah.
Just making it easier for child and parent to do this pull and push and see
Yeah.
what happens when a child is really allowed to lead, and what does it really mean to be the safety net,
Yeah.
not the blueprint.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a success story.
That
I think.
is
Yeah,
sweet.
Yeah,
I mean, that is almost tangible, measurable
It is.
success,
It is.
right?
Yeah.
Tell me, initially when we saw MOH
Yeah.
coming out
You remember
with
the first few ones?
yes, they were, and I was around for a
Yeah.
lot of them. They were mostly pop-ups
Yeah.
at various places, but now I see that there has been a shift in
Yeah.
your strategy.
Yeah.
You are doing sports event
Yeah.
at big sports centers,
Yeah.
schools included. You're also doing music concerts around, festival times and
Yeah.
things like that. What is the idea now? Is this how you're expanding, or is this you integrating more into Merchants of Happiness?
I'll tell you how I see it in my head, because as I've grown every year, I've been able to be a lot more convinced and so be a lot more clear about it. Merchants of Happiness is not an event.
Okay.
It's not an event.
Okay.
It can be theoretically considered as an event, but it's a child-led space. We started with the pop-up version where the stalls happen, and that is still the key focus because that is the lessons we teach,
Right.
right? We've then included more community aspects. Because if a stall can be done,
Yeah.
a concert can be done.
Correct.
There are children waiting for opportunities that may not be provided because of various reasons, Ange. Resources, privileges, exposure of parents, a lot.
Yeah.
So regardless of your background, your school, your ability, if tomorrow we can find, which we did with our latest band, 6 different kids, 6 different schools
Yeah.
come together for a band, but they did that by themselves.
Yeah.
They just knew that in this space, we can do whatever we
Yeah.
want. Little did they know I'm a taskmaster and I'll get them to do it in a certain way, but they knew.
Yeah. The
Right?
band being Nova,
Nova,
who performed
yeah.
recently.
Or
yeah.
when Jambalaya Kids came,
Yes.
right? And you emceed that for us.
Yes.
And Morella Nomema said it's their philosophy of we are child-led.
Yeah.
And I watch them and I'm like, it doesn't matter. You can bray, you can scream, you can sing, you
Yeah.
can dance, you can not know the words, but singing should be, you should sing before you can be taught singing.
Yes.
I love that and I'm like, that's child-led.
Yes.
So I think as we've grown, we've understood that this could be a space for more community that's doing child-led to come together.
Yeah.
And use that as a platform to be, for whatever,
Yeah.
disability, get more children for their classes or
Yeah,
programs.
yeah.
But also for parents to find more like-minded, like what, a lot of parents are coming because they're like, I know, I want this.
Yeah.
A lot of parents are coming because I want this, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be a space for just as parents learning through doing rather than learning through there's a developmental chart or a timeline.
True.
You see this in real life
Yeah.
versus or translates from here are the 10 top things you should do with your child. Like God bless those reels that come up.
Yes.
If your child isn't, I'm like scroll. Did you know? No, scroll.
Skip,
You don't
skip.
know because you have to see it happen.
Yeah.
That's where we are. So the events or the get-togethers or the community days, like we
Yeah.
call it, is now an expansion of libraries turning into story houses, Merchants of Happiness now having a story mosaic lit fest, which is little stories everywhere we go. My biggest goal now is to integrate all platforms of children into a learning pathway. So very soon we're heading into schools with a 4-week life skills program. Imagine, Ange, like your son
Yeah.
was given a pin and said, what can you do with this pin? He's only 6 or 7,
Yeah.
but given a paper pin and said, what can you do? And then we can tell him there are 15 more things you can do.
Yeah.
As your child grows beyond 7, he gets another 4-week program where he's talking about problem solving. Like,
Yeah.
can this turn into a product? Can this turn into an industry? What are the
Yeah.
past lessons?
Yeah.
Or you're talking about careers to a 7-8-year-old,
Right.
and you could get actually career people coming in and saying 5 years ago a scientist was doing this,
Yeah.
5 years later a scientist will be doing this, and
Yeah.
here's where you need to start.
Yeah.
Or an architect, like a problem solving
Yeah.
thing where everybody's like, what does an architect do? And all children will say build buildings.
Yeah.
But today an architect can design a sewage system of a country,
Yes.
a technology. There are different architects.
Yeah.
There are brain architects, for
Yes.
God's sake. So giving your child the exposure of what the real world could really look like is the 4-week life skills program, which culminates as you grow into the first ever community pop-up at the school, which they curate.
Oh, right.
From there, you're qualified to come to an outdoor event of Merchants of Happiness. From there, as you grow, we start to take you more seriously because you've taken yourself more seriously, and you enter an edition called the Pitch Clinic. Think
Okay.
Shark Tank India for children.
Right.
No money.
Okay.
Bigger opportunities.
Uh-huh.
You don't need money right now.
Yeah.
And from there, hopefully connect with the right people who'll either help you develop your skill or your will.
Right.
And then maybe your first teenage job, like we hire teenagers and pay them well.
Right.
But I want everyone's first teenage job to be in a child-led place.
Right.
So it's a little pathway
Right.
that grows as your child grows.
Yeah.
And it's a model that can be plug and play
Yeah.
anywhere. So if you ask me, ultimately my goal is, I don't know how many years it's going to take, but to build that pathway that every parent is looking for outside of school and at home. Is there a bridge? That's the bridge.
Right. That is lovely, truly. Listening to you, it makes me wonder, what does your back-end operation look like?
Chaos.
It is you.
Chaos and a lot of black coffee.
Yes, that is an absolute must.
Yeah.
But what does it look like? What is the actual functioning of a company like yours? What are the back-end operations? Where do you get the money from? How do you get the parents to, come in on this, or schools like you're partnering with?
Yeah.
How do you get them to come in on it? What does your team look like?
I don't know if it's a boon or a blessing or a curse to say it. My team's just me right now.
Wow, a
Yeah.
one-man army, a
For
one-woman army.
For now.
Sounds
And on the
lethal,
day of the
by the
event,
way.
I want it to be. I want
Yeah.
it to. On the day of the event, of course, we hire from interns to young children to parents who volunteer to help.
Okay.
Even whether it's for the decor or whatever.
Right.
It's all you need.
And that's how you're doing this? And that's
And
how you've been doing this for 4 years?
For 4 years and 20 editions, yeah. I'm at a point where I am debating getting more people.
Right.
But when I said earlier, I'm learning. You are the product and the product is your face. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm now at a point where saying if I need to expand, I need to look at a more viable model where the product is speaking for itself.
Yes. Okay.
But if I were to build trust, that Ange, can you trust me with your child?
Yeah.
It takes a face.
Yeah.
So I am looking out for like-minded, but parents first.
Right.
Because that's the authenticity of the brand.
Right.
The second thing is the MO, without giving away too much, is always being community upwards.
Mm-hmm.
Many people or startups or founders that are looking at small grown businesses, community business, many women, we only know the definition of advertising or marketing as build a product and market it. They're
Yeah.
not two separate. You want community, you build community. So all the Easter eggs hunts and the groups that we've created and everything, I already have the community. So it's a downward
It
up.
feeds into it.
And
Right.
it feeds by itself.
Yeah.
And that's my goal, to get more community reach.
Right.
So the idea, the philosophy sells for itself.
Right.
The process is simple. When we first say Merchants of Happiness is coming up for its next edition, the registration form is filled within 48 hours and we're full. Whether we want 30 stalls or 60 stalls.
Wow.
It's taken 4 years, but
Right.
we're at that point where we can, right? Operationally, it takes me away from home. It takes early mornings, late nights, learning and fighting with technology and gaslighting ChatGPT and now Claude to constantly saying, but why does that sound like a manual? You need to sound like me.
Yeah.
To saying, I'll just write it by myself, to learning Canva, to... It's a lot of one person so far.
Right.
And that's because I fiercely protected something.
Yeah.
And that is that children are not the product of Merchants of Happiness. They're not
Right.
the product I'm selling. Right? It's the coming together, it's the outcome, it's the community building, it's a like-mindedness, it's finding pathways for your own child, whatever they might be. That's
Yeah.
the outcome. It's not the children. So it's easy to say, you're in a position of influence, not an influencer.
Yeah.
Or can we write about you in a newspaper?
Yeah.
Or anything. And it's easy as a business or a startup to take advantage of the beautiful tools out there, like social media, WhatsApp, whatever you want to take, and get people to grow for you.
Yeah.
It is harder to stay authentic and protect that core tree value that you have, because growth is slower.
Yeah.
But growth is so much more fulfilling this way.
Yeah.
Because the goal has been achieved. So whether it's people telling you need to improve your social media, I have double this amount of people saying just keep it. It looks natural. It looks like a parent. It looks like a family. It looks like, it looks like children's events rather than a very well put up page. So I think, to go back to your question, the model is simple. You build community upwards.
Mm-hmm.
You build trust with the people before you can build a package that you can sell.
Yeah.
You fiercely protect what's your own.
Yeah.
And don't worry about people finding you. It's not how many people get you likes. I've never been worried.
Your followers.
I've had events where 150 people showed up, and luckily I've had events where 3,600 people have showed up.
Wow. Right.
The right people will find you if your message can stay true enough. And this is about a product or a service or anything. And like I said, right now it's a one-woman army, which is thank God no one knows the inner workings.
I have this image of you as Lara Croft, leather vest and all.
Parents and children.
Pen in one hand, walkie-talkie on the other.
And I think growth is very misunderstood, Ange. Like you say, if I can hire ABC, then I have more hands. I've had multiple people say, I'll come, I'll join, I'll do the work. But when you realize working with children, like really working with them, means it's labor intensive.
Yeah.
It's involved rather than a conscious feel-good process. Then they're like, okay, this is a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And so, when I find like-minded people, which we will need, we'll grow. But until then, one parent, one child, one event at a time. Yeah.
Slow and steady.
Slow and steady.
Let me ask you this, okay? Because I've been battling this myself. Now I'm going to turn you into my agony aunt.
God.
I hope you're fully prepared.
Yes. Isn't that what we do offline anyway?
I've been thinking about this a lot in the last few weeks, and I feel like I have something that I'm truly passionate about, and it is authentic to who I am as a person.
Yeah.
This podcast where I talk to women, and I feel like I'm also slowly but surely building a community.
Yeah.
But I have a really hard time just putting myself out there to promote myself, or rather to promote even the podcast or what I'm doing. And I find that you, in that sense, are very inspiring, because you are able to put yourself out there. You are vocal. You are charismatic online, and you're also someone who doesn't shy away from going out there and communicating, right? How do you do that? Just in the sense of, how do you do that? But also in the sense of, how do you not tire of it? How do you not shy away from it? Is there maybe like a 3-point strategy that you can give me? And so many other mums who, like me, have these amazing things that they might be doing, but do not have the bandwidth or the ability or the natural instinct to promote themselves, especially using social media. And is there something that you do to clock into that?
There are multiple questions in this one, and so from the way I look at it, it needs to start within yourself. But it needs to start by also identifying what's not working already, right? We live in a world that's rapidly changing, and from one day it's technology, second day it's like Eureka, we discovered what ADHD is, and Eureka, child psychology, and everybody's a doctor and everybody's a thing. It can get very overwhelming, but very noisy when you have this path that's so illuminated. So I think if you ask me, the hardest part of doing this, whether you want to call it entrepreneurship or as a woman or as a mother, is just waking up to feel positive when the world is just constantly plunging into darkness. There's so much, and your question constantly is, when is it going to reach me? It's so close by. The second thing I think we all go wrong with, myself included, right, and it still happens to me, is we focus on what other people are doing. So you're focusing on, how do I market myself? What kind of posts? Should I learn Canva? Should I learn this? Should I learn Perplexity? Or who will write my things? And what is a hook? And what is a reel? And what's a hashtag? Oh my God, hashtags don't exist, right?
Yeah, by the way, that's a new learning for me. Hashtags don't
too.
exist.
And they come by chance. It's not like I'm looking for what's working on Instagram or anywhere else.
Right.
Instead of really, and I'll give you my keyword and my model. Instead of having grit to persevere, to go through all of that and still be able to achieve your goals. And this is where I think a lot of us, including myself, can go wrong every month.
Right.
I do it every month and then I recalibrate, I think. First thing is, we start by thinking, oh, I don't have the resources, I don't have the tech backup, I don't have the right people, I don't have the platform, I don't have so many likes and follows, and I don't have, nobody's told me these amazing things about myself. That's fear. That's not resources or tools, that's real fear. It's very real, because I face it every single day. To the point where I'm like, what if there's a point, if I don't say it, I'm not going to be relevant anymore. So that's our fear. The fear is not making something come true. Your fear is much more deep-rooted, right? And what this fear does is it'll tell you that till you feel one morning, like you said earlier on, where you're feeling like I'm in my goddess avatar, or a personality disorder is hit, or I'm on drugs or whatever, and I'm like, today is the day I can finally do it. You're waiting to reach a stage where you feel fearless. But fear can be a gift. Fear means you care. Fear means I believe in it so much that I don't want anyone to put it down. That's it. That's just bound to happen. So you have to be ready to start before you can reach that stage of fearless, right? 2, in a world today where everybody's putting everything out there, really nobody looks at half the stuff, right? That's your cue for becoming a risk taker. Become it. Put it out there. The worst thing is, on YouTube or whatever platforms you're using, you won't get a certain like or whatever. But there will be some point where someone gets hooked on because you have so much more to say than just the video they've watched. Right? So you are not building for current metrics.
Right.
You are building so that someone can see through the whole process one day, and that person will tell 5 other people. That's the joy of service. Right? 3 is the tools that we're all so scared of. You need to take accountability of either learning or forging your path and saying, I'll do without it. And I can still do it. I'll find a different way to do it. Or I'll find someone else to do it. So it's not bad to ask for help. When you need to. So I think this brings me to what grit really means for me. This is something I wrote down when I did my first leadership training. At that time, I very proudly called it CCCA. Today, I can't roll it on my mouth. And I wanted to be something perfect, like a Freudian concept of 4 C's or whatever. But I'll start backwards, right?
Okay.
Instead of these very real fears that you're processing every day, why don't we take accountability and start by saying, I just don't feel aligned. Whether it's technology, so that's the A, right? If you want to do a 2-hour podcast, but your maid hasn't come, or your house help, or your cook or your husband doesn't know how to cook, you're completely misaligned. If you feel like you want to go out and meet people and talk about your idea, float it around, like you say, networking, but everyone wants to meet you after 4 o'clock and you don't have house support, you're feeling misaligned. If you want to sit and just constantly badger your head with Claude, hashing out ideas, or anywhere for that matter, or research, you're not doom scrolling, research, but you haven't slept okay, it's going to come out. So I think you have to first learn how to align. The problem with alignment is women know what they want. Mothers are still ambitious. Mothers can problem solve like no government or CIA or anyone can solve. We're naturally, instinctively built to solve problems. Right? Whether it's where to hide in the rain in a cave, or today which holiday to take, or what's best for my child or for my husband, or when to leave something. We know this, right? But we don't communicate. Have you ever had the conversation, I wish my husband just did more, but say, hi husband, sit. You know what I mean?
Right.
I want to build this, and it means it's going to take up more of my time.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the weekends, I want to go meet people. I want to go socialize more. I
Yeah.
want to air my idea. I think I need that right now.
Yeah.
And your husband will say, wow, great, I support you. I'm the, new man and I'm supporting you. But have you also said then, this means you're going to put our son to sleep.
Yeah.
This means you've learned how to cut nails.
Yeah.
This means you cannot feed them fried food, but you have to feed them good food. And I'll get the food made. Then sitting with your house help and say, look, I'm not going to be there. I'll write it down. What do you need? So we know what we want, but do we communicate?
Yeah.
And if you are aligned in this as a personal person, if you show up for yourself like you want to show up for a business and be known like she's got this, you got to do that for yourself.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable communicating that, dude, I need sleep, or I'm going through hormones and I can't figure out A to Z of it, like it's not in my control, anymore. So the problem is not, we're in a world where everyone's just venting,
Yeah.
and because some of us have just discovered it. But what about taking accountability and communicating to help you with the outcome?
And there is a difference between the two.
Big difference. Because either your husband will act up or he'll step in.
Yeah.
And you have to have compassion for saying it'll take time.
Yeah.
But at least you've made your idea clear.
Yeah.
At least if you get late or run or whatever, you are communicating. Communicating gives fuel to the fire that you need, passion or whatever you need, called curiosity.
Yeah.
Now it's like, now work backwards, right?
Yeah.
So what if I had everything organized and somebody stepped in to take care and I was clearly able to communicate my needs and I can become whatever I want to be? That curiosity is mad. Like, now what if I do an event? Now what if I put up a podcast? Now what if and curiosity brings, too many big words, but lateral thinking.
Right.
It doesn't limit you and say vertically, I have to have a product, then I have to sell it, then I have to...
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't happen this way, but what if I went this way? She can do the selling for me.
Yeah, yeah.
They can do I don't need to do it. So
Yeah.
it gives you curiosity, gives you time to create.
Yeah.
And it's a model I've been teaching the children called divergent thinking.
Yeah.
A pen is not limited to writing.
Yeah.
It can be used in 50,000 different ways. So curiosity is giving you time to let those ideas run
Come
wild
out, yeah.
and find time to funnel it.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from courage.
Yeah.
So if you work back ways, or front ways, whatever, it's courage gives you, no, I want to do this. I believe strong enough. I know it can make an impact. And I don't care about the outcome, but I know I need this. The world needs this right now. That's courage.
Yeah.
Then you move on to curiosity. Like, okay, if I had everything organized and I had the full freedom,
What would I do?
what would I do?
Yeah.
And that brings you to, it's hit me, your eureka moment. This is the same thing that children go through.
Yeah.
Your ideas are not wrong, but what if I gave you a little pathway
Yeah, yeah.
to go play your stepping stones and see what happens?
Yeah.
And if that brings you to being able to communicate for yourself, you'll do this with a colleague, a VIP, an investor, a funder, your husband, your child, your house help, your mother-in-law, your driver, the shopkeeper who needs to, anybody. It becomes a map for yourself. And that makes you feel aligned. And when a woman feels, we call it being heard in psychology, but especially after motherhood, if you feel aligned,
Right.
it opens up doors on a different level. That for me is grit.
Right.
Perseverance and grit is not only getting back after falling down.
Yeah.
It's doing certain things
Yeah.
so that you can keep trying.
Yeah.
Till you are absolutely knocked on your face and like, try something else, friend.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a model I've lived by.
Yeah.
Whether it's through heartbreak or financial struggles or, losses in life and grief and all of that. Everybody told me, you never give up. And I'm like, what is this never give up?
Yeah.
Either I am detached to a certain level where I can't feel pain and do things, or I have a way of working around things. And I've realized I've been teaching, but I couldn't put a finger on it. And so very, very early on, I wrote it for myself. And it's changed words over the years, but it's remained. You need grit. You need to be able to go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I like that note. I feel like I have more questions, but let's move on.
Yeah. Sorry. It took
And
so
let
long.
that stay there for a bit.
Yeah.
But before I do let you go, I want to ask you, what is the 5-year plan? Do you have a 5-year plan for your business, for Merchants of Happiness?
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself?
Yeah, I want to build that. So I've called it multiple child intelligence model,
Okay.
and not multiple intelligence model.
Okay.
It's multiple child intelligence.
Yes.
To basically say every child has a different pathway and a different, blueprint written in the stars or on the ground or wherever. And I think we need to learn better support systems, better communication to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to build that pathway I talked about. It's
Right.
start at grassroots levels in school, then go on to giving them the outer experience, then build it a little bigger with bigger opportunities till they get their first time job. If they can do something on their own from there, great. But that's 15, 16 is still not enough, but a solid
Yeah.
timeline to say, we've given you the life skills you need.
Yeah.
Now, whether you want to jump jobs or jump a country or say no to something you've studied for or decide on your own, you're doing it in a very aware.
Yeah, it's applicable to every form of stepping into adulthood.
Yeah. So building that support system, and I feel like I'm working very, very hard on structuring the unstructured part of parenting in the city.
Right.
We're working on something that'll solve multiple problems, bring parents onto a platform where it can give you very curated, whether it's a weekend event and child specific, that to a doctor's resource, but a verified checklist of what you
Right.
need in order to parent, but also solving problems of service providers coming on that platform and not wasting their time creating Canva posters and marketing,
Yeah.
but being able to do that with a target audience. I want
Right.
to bring that together. So yeah, there are multiple goals, but the goal is to, I think, just have parents and children breathe about this entire journey called parenting.
Yeah.
And the more pop-up could be one form. The
Yeah.
school programs are a second form. The
Yeah.
app is a third form.
Yeah.
And supporting every mum that's ever felt like you can do this because of I can't.
Yeah.
I've learned that from my mum.
Yeah.
No mother should ever feel that she can't do the best for her child,
Yeah.
wherever that is.
Yeah.
I want to be able to support more women to practically look at what they can do to reach their potential,
Yeah.
however that is.
Yeah.
So I think, that's the entire goal, and in the process maybe become a better mother.
Yeah.
So
That's always the hope, right?
that's always the hope. Yeah.
Okay, before I let you go,
Yeah.
do you have any recommendations for us? I love to ask mums about, if you've read something that's really struck you and stayed with you, or a show that you've binged, or even a podcast that you've been listening to that you enjoyed.
I've only recently done podcasts because all my life, like I've told you, I've talked.
Yeah.
So I'm over psychologized. Like if anyone tells me you need to work on yourself, I'm like, Baba, I've done it too long. I want something else. So
Right.
genuinely what fires me is podcasts about times changing. So it's psychology and it's human behavior. I love.
Right.
Did you know I want to become a criminal psychologist?
Oh no,
Yeah,
I
love
did not.
brains. I feel like, wow, I could keep you in a cage and watch you all deal. Like I'm that
Wow.
fascinated.
Okay. All right.
Not in that way, but I am fascinated by the brain. So whether it's the people talking about children changing, people changing,
Right.
Just the human brain fascinates me. So I love listening about people.
Okay.
Whether that's people that have achieved something or failed in something, or the human science of of thoughts.
Right.
Very Freudian, but
Yeah.
I'm fascinated
Okay.
by that. So I listen about that. I listen about a little bit about changing views of parenting.
Right.
So it's a mixture. Whatever
Right.
comes up and the topic fits, I will listen.
But you haven't heard anything specifically that you could.
I listen to your podcast.
You got good taste, my
names.
friend.
I agree, but by name, no. I mean,
No?
I have to give you a list of people
Yeah.
by looking at my Spotify,
Spotify,
but
yeah.
I listen to anything.
Anything.
It's on that day what I need to motivate, myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm listening to spiritual stuff and, from a Satguru to a Green Tara mantra. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's what I need on that
On
day.
that
and I
day.
think that's a simple thing to follow.
Okay.
Books that I read, I think there's one called Jonathan. I read it like on coffee breaks.
Okay.
And it's called Anxious Parenting or
Yes. Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt. Yeah.
And I don't think there's a better way of putting all our thoughts into one by talking about
Yeah.
what these changes are doing to our children
Yeah.
and how it'll impact them.
Yeah.
And that's really helped me understand people and children better.
Yeah.
You know, and myself.
It is a very good
I mean,
read.
part of my job is on social media, so I'm one of those people too.
Yeah.
So it's helped me doing that, and I from a Facebook recommendation pop-up, it came how to talk to your children. I think that was the one.
Okay.
How to speak to your children, how to talk to your children. Oh, I forgot the book, but
Is it How to Talk So They Will Listen?
so they will listen. One of those.
Yeah.
No, yeah, one of those.
Okay.
I'll send you the picture. That's really taught me how to work on my anxiety. You know, as a trainer, I've always said influence is when you can communicate your ideas very clearly from here to here.
Yeah.
And I let it go as I became a parent and a happily fed wife. And now I'm like, oops, we're back at it.
Yeah.
That was a recent one that really helped me pull back the reins and say,
Right.
no, it still matters. Like
Yeah.
whether it's to my child or thing. And at the same time, it's taught me how to execute it, but with my own learnings. Like
Right.
freedom within boundaries. Like it's
Yeah,
taught me how to own it myself. So yeah, these are some of the things in terms of shows. My husband Chris introduced me. Sometimes you're watching dumb things
Yeah.
because you just need to have
Decompress.
something play,
Yeah.
and that could be. I don't know if it's say it on a podcast, no, from reality series to anyone. I'm like, oh, baby, look at this, look what they're wearing, look what they're doing, and he's like, you become a chutney Mary mom.
Yeah.
But I would watch anything.
Yeah, but why not, right? Because ultimately, whatever lets you.
Yeah, and when I need to calm down, it's a lot of documentaries. I enjoy documentaries.
Nice.
I enjoy these new age things that Netflix is putting up. Like
Yeah.
people are saying there's a new education way, there's a new crime stories. That's all
Yeah.
I watched when I was pregnant.
Yeah.
Just horror, thrill and crime
Yeah.
and death and gore. I don't know why.
True
And,
crime
yeah.
became my jam even during my pregnancy.
See?
Strange.
Yeah, so we turned out okay.
Hopefully.
And music.
Music.
Is something Ben and I, my husband and I, and Ben, all of us, like if it's Sufi or piano or, contemporary or classical or religious, anything.
Anything.
You know, there's music playing all the time in the morning for us. So yeah, when I'm not at work and I'm not working with the little and the big people, I'm just doing everything and working out. It's like my sanity.
Yay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I do for fun.
How lovely. It has been wonderful chatting with
Thank
you.
you.
And as always, so illuminating to, just sit and have this conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us here on Invisible Work. And you, dear mama, thank you for listening in. Please do continue to be in touch with us. You know the website. It's invisiblework.mom. Also do check us out on our Instagram page, which is Invisible Work Podcast. And Farah, before you go, I'm going to ask you to leave your Instagram handle as well.
Yeah, the Merchants of Happiness is _merchants_. You'll find us. It's a yellow round circle that has Merchants of Happiness. That's me. And it's Farah Merchant 29. Don't ask me about the 29. Farah Merchant 29 for my personal account where there's more fun stuff. But for now, this is where I am.
All right. You heard it here. And thank you for listening in. I will catch you on the next episode. Until then, good luck with your sanity because that's one thing every mom needs help on. Take care.